Were you surprised at the results?
No.
You were not.
I'm surprised at people who are surprised at the result.
Yeah.
That's what.
Like, what is your algorithm?
All that smoke.
It's
none
done,
of it is
dude.
real. Yeah.
It's done. The days of that being big is the days of that cancel culture happening is done. It was never real. It was always it was astroturfed. What you had was a small group of people with all these bots on Twitter.
Yeah.
He said something mean, and then the corporations would be like, "You're fired."
That's right.
Before anyone could even discuss
Yeah, but
it.
that's where it gets real, though, Sam, because
That's where it gets real.
those corporations and advertisers
Like
and
me.
agencies and like my friend
But
Brian
they don't
here.
have power anymore because
Well, now it's over. But at the time, to say it was
and it actually
real,
hurts
it was
them.
like although there was a small minority.
But my
they could-
point is, it wasn't real in that people.
Correct.
People made people
Correct.
get. It was the astroturfing, like these blue hair and green hair people are super powerful, and it's like no, corporations wanted to give the illusion that if you step out of line, you can get
Correct.
super canceled,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
And it's gone. And the whole thing we're talking. My biggest problem with the Tony stuff is all the white beta cucks demanding censorship. It's like we gotta stop these jokes. It's so mean. I'm like, you know, you're going to be the one censored the most.
Of course.
The problem is,
Well, they don't care though.
Well,
That's why they're
because
cut. That's why they're
conformist.
cut.
But they don't understand. The minute you are okay with, it's like the my body, my choice people learned this. The minute you're okay with any power, like dropping the hammer on things you don't like, just know it will come back and
Always.
be and just.
They're not just going to do that.
Yeah, it will come right back on you.
So that's what the founding fathers talk about, and Jordan Peterson was very good at articulating that. You when you set up a system, you cannot rely on the people. It's like, no, our system of socialism or communism is going to be good because the people will put in good people. The problem that you don't understand is that there's somebody right behind that good person waiting in the wings who's going to take advantage of that, and they're going to game the system. And if you have a system where you put one person or a faction in power, that faction will do whatever they want because you're going to have sociopaths very quickly that fill that role. So exactly, a classic
power,
example.
right?
Classic example is the Catholic
Jews.
Church. No, Catholic Church.
Kanye West.
Once pedophiles realized that they wouldn't get in trouble,
Yeah.
they would join the priesthood, put on that frock, and now they would go from parish to parish,
Yeah.
and they had their
got the clear pass.
I almost got molested by Father Dan, and I'm dead serious. The reason I don't think I got molested is because I'm a grower, not a shower.
Really?
We got in the jacuzzi, and I don't think he liked it.
Yeah.
It saved me, dude.
Yeah,
but
but
if I had banana dick, I probably got felt up.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, that's an interesting.
Glass is half
take
full
on
there.
it.
Hey, man,
if you have
here
a
we
small
are.
dick, you know.
Here we are.
Glass is half full.
Here we are.
Glass is half full. That's why.
But don't
Small
you,
dick,
but you
not
don't you
attractive.
think pedophiles?
Not a small dick, one that doesn't.
Yeah, just doesn't
sorry,
show.
Some people hang,
Sorry,
dog.
buddy. Sorry, buddy.
It's
Yeah.
not big. I mean,
Yeah.
but you're acting like it's super
Yeah,
tiny.
you can have a
sorry,
baby
sorry.
dick.
No, I
It
got the
created
point.
two people.
Yeah.
I'm good, bro.
Okay, all right.
But don't
take
you
it easy.
see? Don't you think those pedophiles and these guys were hiding in the Catholic Church?
Yeah.
And then also organizations like the Boy Scouts, like there's certain where they
Well,
can
that's what I'm saying, right?
get their way in and get that free pass.
Where kids are, if they were anywhere that they have access to
Nickelodeon.
kids, people like that will go.
yeah.
Yes.
I have a real issue when any grown man who does kids entertainment that doesn't have kids.
Bro.
Like I have a comic book I'm doing now. That's because I've watched TV with my kids.
Correct.
I'd be like, that's shady, that's shady. I wanted to create something that parents didn't have to worry about that, right? But if you're like, oh, I just want to entertain children, like, well, why?
And you have
Who
no
likes
kids?
other people's kids?
Yeah, very strange, dude.
It's very true.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah, why are you putting out all these shows? For
Yeah, and they're like,
children?
he's such a brilliant writer. He just knows what the kids are thinking. I'm like, that's not alarming to
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
So a lot
Doesn't
of-
that creep
40.
you out?
He knows what 8-year-olds are into?
Yeah. A lot of people that went into the priesthood, remember, traditionally, were probably gay, and remember, homosexuality was a sin. So the overwhelming guilt of that was like, I'm going to go into the monastery so that I can deal with these demons, and I'm just going to
And
go
still
I'm gonna-
get to heaven.
I'm going to be, I'm going to be so
Wrong.
So what happened was,
Am I right?
check it out. They would get to the monastery, they'd get to the Vatican, they'd get to their parish, and they look around, and all of a sudden they realize all the other priests are gay, and they're dealing with the same demons.
It's like the Abbey for him.
And all of a sudden, it's like, you're gay? I'm gay too. Fuck. That's my biggest secret. And then they
Sorry,
would get
fuck.
together.
Listen.
Now, what happened, I don't know if you saw that French journalist who wrote that book about the Vatican. He was gay. He spent a year in the Vatican. He goes, hey, dude, this was pedophiles and gay men, mostly. And the pedophiles are covering for the gay men. The gay men are covering. Like, I'll keep your secret, you keep mine, don't fuck around.
Jesus, dude.
And that's what he wrote. And so there is no question that so many pedophiles said, hey, there's an opportunity to be around kids. I can hide. Yeah.
Yeah, Shin and I were talking before about closeted gays. You remember that? That was a deep conversation.
What was it
Abraham
about?
Lincoln, closeted.
Facts.
Abraham
He
Lincoln was
had a
gay.
partner with him on the road all the time, and they used to sleep in the same bed. Yeah.
And it's like
Hell of a
the
wrestler,
closet
too.
gays are the most dangerous because they're really angry. And like if you find out like
They
what we
prosecute
did,
other gays.
well, what we did in like the Mexican American War, like brutal, dude. And he didn't care. There was a whole I'm reading this book right now. It's called American Memory Hole by Don Jeffries. Great book, and it's just about this whole complete revisionist history of like our country. And it's like, dude, savages. Abraham Lincoln was not a nice guy, hated people, didn't care about the slaves, all this stuff. The way they sell it is just nuts, but closeted gays. You know, Bill Clinton's the Andy Dick of the White House. He just saw holes. He just wanted to hit it.
He's a knucklehead.
Yeah, dude, he was
knucklehead.
He's just a weirdo,
knucklehead.
Just hitting holes, bro.
Isn't that funny now?
JFK
It's a
bisexual.
knucklehead. What do you want from me?
Sir, you lied about serving.
I'm a knucklehead.
I'm a knucklehead. I say wild
You were
stuff.
banging the janitor. I'm a knucklehead.
Sir, but you're trying to be the vice president of the United States. Okay, I'm a knucklehead.
So you're doing rails of cocaine off the back.
That's gonna be
of
my
a-
new thing.
You're taking
Stranger.
teenagers to
my
ABBA
new-
concerts.
I'm
or
a
whatever.
knucklehead.
I'm a knucklehead.
I'm like ABBA, like teenagers. I'm a knucklehead.
What else are they saying in that though, Sam? Because also with Abe Lincoln, like, yeah, like my son would come home from school, you know, and they'll teach him about someone, and inside I'm like, God, I want to give you the real.
Yeah, that's the
I
weird
wanna
thing.
be the
How do you?
real.
Well, Abe Lincoln was probably a complicated man, like a lot of people.
But history, that's not. You can't teach that to kids.
Well, no, he could
they
never
should.
tell a lie.
They should.
He chopped down an apple tree. He traveled 10 miles to return a penny or something, like all that stuff.
Yeah, so stupid.
So many
Imagine
fake stories.
traveling 10 miles.
But they were
to return
demigods.
a penny.
So many fake stories.
Yeah, you do that when you have children. You want to create nationalism in your country.
Yes.
You want to be, and I fell victim to it. You did. We did. We love our country.
Even back then, I was like, I don't know, man.
I defend America no matter what.
Freemasons.
George Washington with his wooden teeth, and he was,
Never had one teeth.
Thomas
Those were
Jefferson.
slave teeth. Did you know that?
Yeah, there
What
was
do you mean
a lot
they were
going on.
slave teeth?
His teeth, it's fake. They weren't wooden. They were slave's teeth.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the one slave that was just there to bang other slaves? Like that was his job.
What a gay.
Like just banging.
Everyone's
like
all crying
day
how
after-
terrible it
like
is. It's
all
like-
day.
Well, there was
Everyone's
that-
like, this is horrible.
They
We're in
bring
the
in females,
fields. We're getting
slaves,
whipped.
just
Yeah.
pound
Yeah,
down.
there was that idea that the brutality of slavery is so much worse than people realize. So, in Uncle Tom's Cabin, by Harriet Beecher Stowe, which is an incredible book. She had never met slaves, but she interviewed slaves who would come over.
She never met slaves,
no,
but
she never
interviewed
met, 'cause
them?
She was from the North, and so the book is so powerful. But
It's older, yeah?
Yeah, but remember that book. That book was what Lincoln said. You're the little woman that wrote this small book that created this great war. When people read Uncle Tom's Cabin,
What happened?
yeah, they were
wow.
in the North, they didn't realize the brutality of slavery. In the North, when they heard about they would have these houses, if you want to call them that, really stables. And they were little black children who had been sort of orphaned or taken from their parents. And they would all live in this group home, and they were like feral. They were never raised anything, but they were being raised to be something like a forced labor hand.
Jesus.
And then when they would go in New Orleans, so that's where you didn't want to go, where the slave market was, you would have a 10-year-old girl with her mother holding on to that 10-year-old girl. And they would take that 10-year-old girl, and some scumbag guy would take her. And they would be like, I want that girl. And the mother would say, please bring me, and say, no, you're old, I don't want. And so your little 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old daughter would go with some
Trauma.
bull-necked, horrible man.
Christ.
And you know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And so you have to remember
So she brought
also,
light to that, and then was the public upset?
Dude,
Even back
the
then?
North was so outraged, they were like, we have to do something
That's what
about this.
happened, war.
Now, the Civil War was also for a lot of other reasons.
Yeah, but slavery
That
was
doesn't
the
help.
emotional,
Do you know most slaves didn't come on slave boats?
That's right.
Most of them were Moors that were already here.
Well,
Yes.
no.
Yes.
No, that's
most
not
of them were Moors. Moors.
What do you mean Moors?
Well, I'm
The
part Moor.
The Moors were the Moroccans. They were the North Africans.
They were North
darker
Africans.
Arabs,
They
Arabs.
came in. They conquered southern Italy, creating Sicilians, which I am a descendant of. My grandmother was Sicilian. She was psychic. On my dad's side, we have a lot of psychics. We have a baby that sees dead people. Okay. So we have a lot of
Back
that
to the
going
Moors,
on.
man.
But the Moors had already settled Florida. There's so much about it. Moors settled Florida. Moors settled Mexico. The whole story is just complete BS. But most of the slaves were already here. They didn't come on slave boats.
That's
wild.
Yeah, that's called
don't-
true.
well,
That's called
well,
true.
So you're saying
This
there's
is-
no slave boats at all?
I'm saying no. I'm
Historian
not saying
Sam-
it
historian
doesn't even
Sam's a
make
little bit
sense.
off on this, but-
Why? Well, no.
But wait,
no.
wait.
You
Well,
know,
there's definitely some slave
larger
boats.
some,
Like
but
Spain,
most
Spain had a lot to do with it.
were already
England.
here. Most of the slaves were already here. They were already we conquered the Moors.
Hold on,
the
Fritz.
Moors that I had. The Moors, dude. You can read
Can I-
literature where they talk about like how the Moors were dressed. They were European Africans.
And then we
if I
turned,
may,
and then
we just went there and curb
and then
stomped.
what? We came here and then colonized them and
Yeah.
turned-
Yeah, the
Matt.
rednecks, the Redskins,
second, let's
the
get through this.
Redskins weren't even Native Americans.
You're talking about Washington Redskins?
No, the Redskins were Vikings, dude. The Redskin was
It's a
their
lot,
thing that
Sam.
they put on because they were so pale. Dude, it's a total hidden history is my favorite
I know
subject.
it's all wrong, but
no,
anyway.
okay, Brian.
Sam-
Brian, who's been more right and who's been more wrong?
Sam. Well, I
Brian,
wanna
do
get
I
into
go
that.
to my test?
I wanna get
where
into
you were
that.
like, you're right about everything. Do I want to get
I
into
want to
that?
get into this.
Okay.
I want to get into this.
Okay, I
but
love you.
Before we do it, let me finish
See
my
my
thought
special.
on the brutality of slavery. Do you ever notice? So if you look at Africans from West Africa, if you look at Africans from East Africa, their skin tends to be very, very dark. So if you
Yes.
look at Sudanese, they're very dark. Do you ever notice how Black Americans are generally brown,
Lighter,
caramel,
caramel, yeah.
kind of a. Well, that
Dude,
is because-
Indiana,
that is
Indianapolis?
because
You ever
that's
see
not- it's
black
not
chicks from
mixing.
Indianapolis?
It wasn't mixing. It was rape. When you had,
Whoa,
when you were a plantation
whoa.
owner, you
Yeah.
Had sex with the female.
yeah,
And they used to have kids.
and your slave
right?
had nothing to do with that. Now, obviously, in plantation like Thomas Jefferson, his descendants,
He loved
had
his
a,
slave.
He had a house slave that he had sex with. It was his mistress. And so there's a whole lineage of genealogy that's attached to Thomas Jefferson that is African American.
And that leads to Steph Curry.
That's exactly right. But Sam, I want to get into something else.
And that's how you get Drake.
Before we get into hidden history, I do want to acknowledge, and
Yes.
I want you to tell me what you know about these 20 million or 18 million votes
Yes.
that seem to mysteriously
What do you think
missing.
happened?
You know what happened.
Can you tell the listeners what the situation is and maybe extrapolate a little?
Before you answer, how's this not a thing? I
Well,
know
that's what I wanna know.
I know. Like our guy won, who wanted to win. So it's like, all right, whatever, we'll deal with that. But hold on, I know. Congrats, real quick. No one wants to talk about the. You're telling me he was more popular, way more popular than
Than
Obama,
Obama?
more popular than Clinton.
It might be
Where
that-
those go?
You're telling me Kamala Harris was more popular than second term Obama? She got more votes than he did.
So I have a question.
Quick
I
question.
have a question.
so many-
that's what I'm saying.
possible? Is it possible that Trump was
Oh,
such
here
a
we go.
polarizing figure that he
He's
created?
still a polarizing figure.
No, but
Same guy.
is it possible though that more
20
people
million?
voted as a result?
No.
But the 20 million less.
15 million?
Yeah.
20
So
million?
can you explain what? So is it that Biden got 20 million votes more than Harris or Obama? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. That's very interesting.
You know what else is interesting? In all the blue states, there's no voter ID.
Chin, bring up the graph because you can see the jump. It's actually astonishing.
But I just can't believe Trump's like, yeah, I'm glad we won. Real quick, can we just have a day to look into what happened to those 20 million
But
votes?
you know what's so
He will,
funny
he will.
about that is like the last
know.
4 years have been hell. Like, think
have.
about all the crazy stuff. Drag Queen Story Hour,
Wild.
Ukraine, just DEI everywhere, all that garbage stuff, right? But man,
Popular
or
vote.
you can go to Sam Tripoli's Instagram. It's like if you just go down far enough, I posted it.
Okay.
Let's do that then. That's way better.
But you got to put my whole name in because I'm so shadow banned, dude. So it basically, if you look at it, it basically goes 65 million for Hillary Clinton, 81 million for Democrat for Joe Biden,
Wow.
and then 65 million again.
Dude, I have to tell you, Sam, I might be wrong about everything. You might be right about everything.
Yeah, I am right. 'cause
Seriously. That's a very telling thing. You've got, I mean,
But isn't it weird how
I'm
people
at least,
but
I'm
look
at
at the
least
comments.
skeptical.
Look at the comments. People are like, well, "What do you mean, man?" It's like,
Yeah, I mean, like, good guys and people are just going nuts. But it's just like, dude, they had to cheat to win. And it's like listen, there's some moments in American history that changed our country. Obviously, the Gulf of Tonkin, which was a lie, World War, Pearl Harbor, 9/11, huge.
JFK.
But JFK, but nobody talks about when Hillary Clinton kneecapped Bernie Sanders. She basically killed
him.
the Democratic Party
Yep.
because that's who everybody wanted. I do jokes about it. I go, she's playing like Bernie Sanders playing stadiums and Hillary Clinton's putting Sam Tripoli numbers in a cafe, right? Like, it's like, everyone's like, oh, she's winning. She's like, that's not what my eyes are telling me.
Yeah.
And then, so she destroyed. I mean, after that, the DNC couldn't make any money. They couldn't get funding. They had to go to Mexico for funding. And then you get into like all the crazy stuff with BLM and Antifa
Wow,
and
bro.
how all the money that people sent to BLM, do you know where it went? Act Blue. And Act Blue sent to who? The Democrats. Now we fast forward to the Ukraine, right? Now they're sending all this money to the Ukraine. What's the Ukraine doing with a big well, after they give the money to the weapons companies, they send the rest of that to the Ukraine. You know what the Ukraine did? Turn around and bought all of this digital currency on FTX. You know what FTX did? Took that money and gave it to what? Act Blue, which was a DNC
Basically,
fundraiser.
money laundering.
Yeah, it's
That's all it
money
is.
laundering, dude.
Figure it out. Come on.
Well, that none of that stuff surprises me, right? Everybody's playing the game because you want to grease the palm of whoever's in power in the United States so you get more weapons, right?
No, but that's not it. The whole purpose is that they figured out a way to fund the DNC through this backdoor thing.
Well, how about the
Money
fact
laundering.
that they are not very good at spending money because the Harris campaign overspent by what was it, 20 million or
20
200
million.
You know, it's so
Did you
funny,
see who
too?
the celebrities they paid? Like Oprah got $5
a
million.
mill.
Oprah did.
Eminem-
Call me
Eminem-
Daddy got like 700,000.
I'd have her on here for that.
Yeah, she only
Eminem
got a million
1.
views on that though.
She didn't even get a million views.
Not even. Eminem got 1.5 mil.
So
Cardi B got a mil or
So
whatever.
Sam, it seems to me that the American people have swayed conservative and are done with this mainstream media, with Hollywood,
Yeah.
with even big tech, and even the idea of voter fraud. Like people are done, right? And so
I feel like men are done.
yes, but I think a lot of women. Remember, 52%.
Yeah, women are done too, but men are
of
like,
white women-
okay, enough.
right?
Yes.
But 52% of white women and a lot of Hispanic men voted for Trump.
Yeah.
So it's moving in that direction. But so what does that say about your conspiracies? It seems to me that things are moving in the direction you'd like them to move in. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I always say this is like a paranoid population is the best population.
Yep.
Hold the feet to the fire. And we were talking outside about like the reason I like Trump is like he's making some good decisions on his cabinet, making a lot of really bad ones too. But I feel like with Trump, we can manipulate him through social media. He listens to what people are saying.